Welcome. This is just a quick intro video for the 2025 presentation of Software Design and Modelling. I'm Perdita Stevens, I'm the course organiser for this course. So how does the course run? Well, it's largely flipped, meaning the basic material of the course is given to you online so that you can access it at any time of your choosing. So there are lecture videos. These are specially made videos for the flipped version of the course. They're not recordings of previously live lectures. And there are also a whole bunch of readings and videos on top of those. So, for example, there are some short videos specifically for skills development. There are some readings which are blog posts. There are some readings which are academic papers. That gives you the basic material of the course. And then there are two different kinds of in-person timetabled sessions. The really important one is the one that variously gets called practice and discussion session, or Q&A. This is the 1 hour session which takes place every Friday at 10 a.m. in 40 George Square, Lower Teaching Hub. And that's the one that you really should come to if you're going to take this course, because that's where we will have discussions and do exercises and answer questions and generally do all the interactive stuff that relates to the material of the course. So how do you design software? What is good design of software? Where is design and modelling of software going in future? And that's to my mind, that's the most interesting part of this course. It won't be recorded because it's not the kind of session that it makes sense to record. So if you have a clash that means that you can't come to that, I would really suggest reconsidering whether you want to do this course. The other in-person kind of session is the labs. These take place from week 2, so no lab in week 1. They take place in Appleton Tower 606. And these are giving you a chance to use a variety of different tools, initially to do some basic unified modelling language modelling, and then later on to use some more advanced tools relating to model-driven engineering. I will be there. We'll also have a lab demonstrator be there, and so they can also kind of function as a bit of an office hour. If you want to catch me to ask me a question, that's a good opportunity to do so. Most of the tools are online, and so if you have a clash with that, it is generally possible to avoid coming in person to the lab and do it at some other time, with one exception which I'll come to in a moment. So the crucial thing you must be available for really is the Q&A sessions on Friday. We'll also use Piazza, and we'll make fairly heavy use of Piazza for questions and discussions. Sometimes, for example, in the lab exercises, I might say, now go to Piazza, and if you're the first, post your solution there. Please do it when I say that. And I may even sometimes make announcements on Piazza, so please do join, and please set up your notifications so that you won't miss things on Piazza. The assessment corresponds in quite an interesting way to the structure of the course, so let me say a few words about that to start with. This course more or less comes in 2 halves. So we start off considering some quite basic aspects of software design and modelling. So we go into more detail than you have done so far about how to do modelling in UML, the Unified Modelling Language, and we talk about what constitutes good design. And that's really the first half of the course. And then in the second half of the course, we do some much more speculatively forward-looking material relating to model-driven development and the future of software design and so on. In a previous version of this course, I found that what tended to happen was that some students would get behind in the first half of the course, and then they wouldn't really be able to access the second half of the course, which really takes for granted facility with that basic UML and design knowledge. And so in this version of the course, I've designed it so that we have this kind of checkpoint halfway through to give you a strong motivation to make sure that you've caught up with the material of the first half of the course before we go into the material of the second half of the course. So this lab assessment, it takes place in the usual lab slot, and so you must be available in week 6 in that slot. It's a timed assessment that takes place only then. And it basically just asks you to demonstrate that you can do the kinds of exercises that we've been doing in the lab up to then, so that you can do some basic UML modelling in the tools that you've been using. Of course, because of the university marking scheme, I have to make sure that people don't go getting 100% just for that basic following the course material, and so there is also an extra session, which is more section of the assessment, which is more challenging, but I'll say more about that nearer the time. And then the other 50% of the assessment is the written exam, which could examine anything from anywhere of any part of the course, but of course tends to focus on the stuff that hasn't already been assessed in the lab assessment. The exam will have the same format as it has done for the past few years, so if you look at past papers, they're a reasonably good guide. There's a compulsory question 1, which is short answers ranging over the whole course, and then there's a choice of 2 longer questions. There is no compulsory coursework in this course. It's only those 2 elements of assessment. There are, of course, some exercises that you are allowed and encouraged to do, and opportunity to get feedback on what you've done. But that's formative, not summative. One final note, this course is available to anybody in UG3 and up, and so what I often end up saying is if you're in UG3 and you're interested but you can't fit it into your course choices this year, don't worry, because you can always take it in UG4 instead. This year that doesn't apply, because next year I'm going to be on sabbatical and the course won't run next year. And it's likely that this will be the last presentation of the course and something else will happen after I come back from sabbatical. So if you are thinking about whether to take this course this year or next year, take it this year. And if you know that that's the case for anybody else, please let them know. I think that's all I want to say for now. Do have a look at the rest of the course material in the Open Course website if you want to. And either I hope to see you at the Q&A session on Friday, or else if you decide not to take the course, I hope you enjoy whatever you do take. Have fun.